a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And we're blessed and highly favored here in the Platinum MVP Team Studio Quarterback Show. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by the Platinum MVP Team, always helping you win in any marketplace. We've got the Lone Ranger coming up here, Bruce Woodburn. We're going to talk about hometown heroes, money, down payment assistance, dollars, and rates, interest rates, current inventory, heavy on the real estate side leading off today. Fred Defelice, he's our water quality expert coming in as well, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And, of course, we always have Alex Black Belt Lima sitting here in the co-seat, riding shotgun as always. Alex, what's up?
What's up, man? Riding shotgun with my shotgun just in case.
Just in case. You never know. You never know. So we've got our event coming up, too, man. We've had some really good parties, yes. Gratitude parties, networking events coming up here on the 30th. So save that date. Hey, guys, you're invited. If you're listening to this audio, watching our YouTube channel, Amazon, Roku, all the different channels we're on. Thursday, June 20, you're invited, 6 o'clock over at Brio Tuscan Grill, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. It's at the International Plaza Mall. Great location right here in Tampa. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to meet our radio show expert contributors. You're going to have appetizers and food provided. There's also a cash bar available. And it's Thursday, June 20, 6 o'clock, 6 to 8. Come on out and join us. And I think we might even have the Lone Ranger there. I'm not sure. Bruce, you think about riding out?
You never can tell who's going to show up on his horse.
If you see a cowboy hat walking through, it's probably Bruce coming in with the cowboy hat.
There you go.
Alex, you going to have the Adidas tracksuit? We're going to do some break dancing?
So I actually had the tracksuit in the car for the last event, but it was a little hot out, so I decided to just go with
I
the
thought
t-shirt.
that was your pajamas.
So I actually do sleep, and thank you for calling me out on that. That is how I sleep.
It's kind of funny when you say pajamas. It reminds me of when we had Ken Shamrock on the show, and he was, if you don't remember Ken, he was a UFC Hall of Famer. He's a champion of a couple of those in the very beginning.
Yeah, wrestled WWE.
WWE, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he mentioned how when he fought Royce Gracie, he got to wear his pajamas, remember? Because he's talking about the gi.
Yeah, so we joke about that. We call it the Brazilian pajamas when we're training in the gi.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, isn't that, Brandon, isn't that what your competition's wearing all day long? Don't your other realtors sit around in their pajamas all day long?
That's right, they're
for
sleeping.
People to come?
Right? Possible. I think it's very possible. I really don't know, but that is an unfair advantage, though, because they made him take off his boots. That was his thing. He wanted to wear his boots.
Yeah,
wrestling
he fought
boots.
Pancrase style, yeah.
Yeah, and then he got choked out with the gi. It's basically like having a built-in choke there.
Well, and actually, he got choked with a traditional strangle. But what happened there, the quote unquote like the disadvantage, or that he had and the advantage Royce had, was the friction from the gi. Your slipperiness doesn't matter. You can't just get away. You got the friction from the gi. So that would be the factor.
That's the factor. Yeah. Breaking it down for us, Alex Black Belt Lima. We're going to get with Bruce here in just a minute. I want to let you know about a couple of hot listings here. We always feature our real estate properties live on air. Our strategy is to maximize the exposure, help our sellers sell faster for more money with the least amount of headaches. And we love to do that for our sellers. We got a beautiful property on Treasure Island here. It's 140 92nd Avenue, Treasure Island. This one is close to $1 million, just under $1 million here in Tampa Bay. Beautiful property. It's an exceptional investment opportunity. 2 renovated cottages on an oversized lot. There's 2 units, unit 140, 142. One's a 1-bedroom, one's a 2-bedroom. You're just 1.5 blocks from the beautiful beaches, the Gulf of Mexico, sugar sand beaches, and dolphin-filled waters of Pinellas County, Florida. Great opportunity to own real estate right here in Tampa Bay. Hurricane strength storage shed for additional storage as well. 140 92nd Avenue, Treasure Island, Florida. Beautiful listing on the beach from the Platinum MVP team.
I have a question about that property there, Brandon. That's this one here on Treasure Island. Is there any reason why that one couldn't be an Airbnb? Because, that would be the ultimate rental house, man. 2 units. Jeez,
there's a website that we would send out to anybody who's looking for certain specific addresses and areas. There's a Pinellas County website that will guide you to that. So I don't want to say for sure yes or no, but yeah, some municipalities. Exactly. Yeah, it'd be a great one, just like our Gulf Boulevard listing. That one has no restrictions, I know for sure, on that Gulf Boulevard listing that we have. But here's the second property for this segment, 8533 110th Street. Number 305. This is a 55-plus community, one bedroom, one bath, 638 square foot condo. Well maintained, beautiful location here, great location in Seminole, Florida, Pinellas County. You got a heated pool and spa, shuffleboard, card games, billiards. It's really cool. When you think about if you have a family member, mother, aunt, uncle, etc., that is grandma, that's in that position, the last thing you want is them to be lonely. So when you have a condo like this that has shuttle service 5 days a week, local transportation, social events, white elephant sales, dinner, dancing, ladies club, movies nights. I mean, it keeps them active, line dancing, Zumba, silver sneakers program. Think about that one. It's 8533 110th Street, Unit 305, Seminole, Florida. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. All right, we got the Lone Ranger, Bruce Woodburn.
All right.
Yes, sir. Back on the show. There he is. Whoop, there he is. Bruce, what are you seeing out there, man? How are things going on the mortgage side?
Oh man, it's just been a crazy market out there. We're in the dog days of summer. Everybody is, I think the biggest hurdle that we have right now is people are just a little bit polarized on interest rates. They just think interest rates are a little bit higher than they'd like to see them. And I think that that's causing people to hold back a little bit more than they should. Because there are opportunities out there, and I think we need to talk about that as well. But one other thing that I want to mention before we get into what rates are doing and what the market's doing is that there is some opportunities out there. One of them, if you're a first-time home buyer, we've got Hometown Heroes reopening up on July 1st. Now, they got $100 million, though, Brandon. Mm-hmm. That $100 million is not going to last very long. It will probably last for 3, maybe 4 weeks at most. Mm. Last time they infused $100 million, it lasted for 3.5 weeks. So if you make less than $130,000 a year, you have a credit score of 640 or greater, you're a first-time home buyer, then you very well may qualify for up to $35,000 in down payment assistance. That covers your down payment, your closing costs, your escrows, and Brandon and his team can go out and find that perfect home for you, but you need to get the application completed because, like I said, you got about a 3-week window that's going to last on this, and if you don't secure those funds, they will be gone, and they'll be here today and gone tomorrow. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you can go to my website at WeBringYouHome.com, register, or call or text 813-213-4009. And there's other programs out there for people as well. Your $1 million listing on the beach. Do you know that a veteran can buy that home with no money down?
I love it.
No money down.
Jumbos?
No money down. So we've got all kinds of programs, but I think what's happening right now, Brandon, is that people are just so polarized on interest rates and inflation and so forth that they're just not that motivated to do anything. But we did notice that listings have picked up, which means that more people are now willing to sell that home that they got a 3% 30-year fixed rate on in order to get into a new home because the need is greater than the will to keep that low rate.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what's happening.
And Bruce, what I think a lot of times when people think about real estate and they think about the lending process, getting pre-approved and the whole strategy of buying, selling, or investing, is they sometimes get caught up in the mainstream media and what they're saying, and unfortunately they lag behind. The numbers that we see, the people that are actually in the trenches, connected to the multiple listing service, we're teaching classes. By the way, we're moving and shaking. We're keeping things happening. We're on the street. We're getting it done. We're like I teach classes, and I would think that from a coaching perspective, you have some coaches out there that don't practice real estate. They're actually utilizing theories or hearing what other people have said.
Or they were in real estate in the 1980s and they haven't done it since, and they want to tell their story. Yeah.
Or their daddy was a real estate coach their whole life, and they kind of just listened and regurgitated what other people said. But when you look at the market itself, and you're actually in the trenches, Bruce, the Lone Ranger, myself, Lindsey Rhymes, my team, we see what's happening. We see the strategies. We see the price improvements. We see the days on market increasing. So we know pricing, we know the down payment assistance programs, and we also understand that sellers right now are willing to make deals. Sellers are willing to give concessions.
I think that's the opportunity then, too, because you listen to this. There's always an opportunity in a down market. And you know who's taking advantage of the opportunity right now are investors. Investors are not afraid of the interest rates like the average consumer is. Maybe because they have more flexible cash and they're looking for a return on their investment. But they're not getting the return as much on the rent because rates are higher. They are foreseeing the future, and they see that, hey, look at rates will come down sooner or later. I'll just refi when that happens. But right now they want to get into it because they know that as soon as the rates drop, the value comes in, and that's where they're going to make their money. And so you've got to look at the bright side. You know, Warren Buffett said, one of my favorite phrases is, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. Well, people are fearful right now, so it's time to be greedy. How do you do that? You take advantage of the market. You negotiate with a seller. You get closing costs paid. You ask for rate buy downs. There's all kinds of things that sellers are willing to do, because if 10 people want to buy but only 2 are willing to jump in, then the seller only has 2 people coming across their house, and they're starting to freak out a little bit, and they're willing to make deals. That's where your opportunity lies. When rates drop, you will no longer have that opportunity. Matter of fact, if you're FHA, a first-time home buyer, putting less than 20% down, a veteran, you won't stand a chance when rates drop, and yet you're the ones that are waiting for rates to drop. But if they do, everybody's going to jump in at the same time, and it's going to be a bidding war. You're going to have to pay over ask price. They're going to ask you to waive appraisals. I mean, you don't want that. That's shenanigans. We want to be able to get in and get a good, fair deal. We'll refinance you later. And I don't charge any lender fees to my current clients when it comes to refinancing it, so it saves you thousands. You know the people, Brandon, that are waiting on the market. I want to just quote something. 1971 interest rates. 7.33%.
Yeah.
If you decided to wait for rates to drop, you would wait 22 years, and home prices quadrupled during that time frame. 22 years you'd be waiting to get into the market. Right. So the 7.33 was the best you saw for 22 years. I don't think that's going to happen, but those are the people that made the most money in value. So you have to kind of get around the interest rates. We'll fix that later. We'll negotiate buy downs. Brandon will negotiate closing costs for you. But get in the market now. Don't miss out on this opportunity. It is absolutely there.
Yeah, and I want to talk about inventory as well. Just kind of go over the inventory and kind of give you that insight of what's happening. And also, I want you to talk to renters as well, Bruce, when we come back. We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk with that. Also, interesting story. Axios just came out. Tampa among the fastest growing cities in America. We're going to discuss that as well. Where are we at in terms of comparing to Atlanta, Fort Worth, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, and then who's the most decreased as well? Cities like Memphis, New York, Philadelphia. More on that coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online. We'd love to connect with you at Brandon Rhymes 1 at CQB Show, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Consumer Quarterback Show.
Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Shout out to Divine Balance Alternative Healing. My massage therapist, Christina, she does a great job. I get a 90-minute massage every week, and I tell you what, they say stress is the number one killer. It almost got me about 4 years ago. I had a double bypass heart surgery, and I got to get that monthly or that weekly massage. Divine Balance Alternative Healing.com. Palm Harbor location does a great job. Lots of different enhancements where you can add hot towels, hot stones, aromatherapy, oil, infused oils, reflexology as well. Divine Balance Alternative Healing.com. Check her out online. She does an awesome job. Great massage. Divine Balance Alternative Healing.com. Let her know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, a couple of hot listings here. I'm going to get back in touch. We're going to get back on the line here with Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger, Crosscountry Mortgage. We're going to talk about this Axios story, also current inventory and we'll get to the renter conversation as well. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here. 3101 Old Archer Road in Gainesville, Florida. Where are my Gators at? Where are my investors at? Because we're offering 10% off these pre-construction luxury condos, state-of-the-art building available in Gainesville, Florida. It's right down the road, about a mile and a half from the University of Florida, and starting from the low 400s up to the penthouses for $900,000. Pre-construction pricing only for a limited time, 10% off. 3101 Old Archer Road, Unit 209 in Gainesville. Of course, we've got 90 units there available as well. EB5 visas approved. No limitations on your short-term rentals as well. Beautiful properties in Gainesville, Florida. Old Archer Road. 6101 Bayside Drive, Newport Richey, Florida. Beautiful property right on the waterfront. This is a gorgeous home, 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3852 square feet, quarter-acre lot with lush palm trees. You have hurricane-grade windows, beautiful living room that has a wood-burning fireplace, your own private boat dock with access to the Gulf of Mexico. Too many upgrades and updates to list here on the Quarterback Show, but you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com. All right, Bruce, I want to start with this story. Tampa, among the fastest growing cities in America, and Orlando's right there as well. I know you work in Tampa, Orlando metros, and even, you're Mr. Worldwide, you're statewide, nationwide, in a lot of your loan programs. But it's change in population from 2022 to 23. Tampa, Florida, 1.3%. Atlanta is the most increased at 2.4%. Fort Worth, Texas.
That's incredible.
2.2%. Raleigh, North Carolina, 1.9%. Henderson, Nevada, and then Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, the most decreased, as you could probably guess, are the ones that are crime-ridden cities like Memphis, Tennessee, New York, Philadelphia. New Orleans was dead last, and we actually just went to New Orleans last week to pick up a last-minute passport, and what a fun, that was a 9-hour drive both ways, coming back. But, yeah, there's your pros, your winners, and your losers there. Any thoughts?
Yeah, well, they're all blue states. What do you expect?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, they're leaving. And
that's what I think about that.
They're leading in records.
The winners would be Tampa. Okay, let's face it. Who wouldn't want to live in Tampa? I mean, honestly. Like, I grew up in the Orlando area, and I'm in Tampa. I got branches in Tampa, Orlando, Daytona. And you know something? If I had it to do over again, Tampa would be a much better choice. It's a dynamic city. It's got a lot more going on. You got all the pro ball players, hockey teams, baseball teams, football teams. You got everything that you need, and you have water right there. Orlando, landlocked. I mean, we got Disney World, and Sea World, but come on, we don't have an ocean. You've got an ocean. You have so much to offer in the Tampa market. And when I say Tampa, I mean we're going all the way from, Homosassa Springs all the way down. You cover that entire area.
Exactly. Bradenton, Manatee, Sarasota.
Coral, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Bruce, I want to move quick here because we only have a few more minutes. But so talk to me. We wanted to have a conversation around renters. That's coming up next. But inventory, real quick. I want to let you know about inventory because I think a lot of people don't realize that it's still in Hillsborough County, for example, 70% absorption rate. There's 2686 properties available for sale in Hillsborough as of the end of last month. Out of those 2686 properties, 1891 sold. That gives us a 70% absorption rate, 5.83 month supply of inventory. What say you?
Well, I say that inventory is up because sellers that were sitting on homes with a 3.5% 30-year fixed rate didn't want to exit the house. They didn't want to get rid of the rate. But the need overcame the desire to keep the interest rate. So families are growing. People's got to move. They get job transfers. They're downsizing. There's all kinds of reasons people need to move, but they held off as long as they possibly could, waiting for rates to drop again, and they just didn't do it.
Right.
So I think that they've finally come to the realization that, hey, this is now the new norm. Heck, you're used to paying $3.50, $3.60 a gallon for gas. It's your new norm. Come on, you were paying $2 a gallon for gas, but now if you get gas on sale for $3.25, you think it's a bargain. And that's just what people they're going to have to settle into the rate. Listen, it'll get better. But you've heard the adage, marry the home, date the rate. The rate is temporary. You will get the gains in real estate by hanging on to real estate. It will go up in value. We're seeing greater than a 5% appreciation in our market right now, greater than 5%. And you think about that. You got a $500,000 house. It's going up by $25,000 a year. That's $2,000 a month that you're gaining in equity. $2,000 a month. So if you're making a $3,500 a month payment, you're gaining $2,000 of that back. So you've got to look at the big picture. And I don't think people understand money and how it can grow for you. And real estate is the easiest way to grow value. My son bought a house at 23 years old. He's 26 now. And in 3 years, he's made $175,000. As a 26-year-old, you just don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, listen, if your customers need my help, listen, I'm here to help anybody that needs a mortgage get a great mortgage. I'm a direct lender. I'm in all 50 states. I'm one of the top producers in the country, and I'm right here in your backyard, and I'm here to help you. 813-213-4009 or WeBringYouHome.com. Brandon and I can team up. We'll help you. You got a winning team, a fighting team. He's the quarterback. I'll bring my horse out there, and by God, we're going to go wrangle up some deals for you folks.
I love it. I love it. Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Arranger, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team. Hit it again. I like that one. The Lone Arranger. There it is. All right. I love it. I love it. All right, Bruce. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate the insights.
Hey,
there.
have a great weekend. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
All righty. Likewise. All right, coming up, we got Fred Defelice, our water quality expert. You won't believe what the latest is on water quality. You're going to hear from Fred Defelice. He's got the solutions as well coming up here on the show. Water quality conversation here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, interesting conversation about trades versus college education. I've got a recent story that came out I want to discuss with Fred Defelice on that as well. Follow us online. We'd love to connect at BrandonRhymes1, at CQB Show. We'll be right back here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast.
And we're back here in studio. We got Fred Defelice in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He is our water quality expert contributor on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk about the latest in water quality, and some of the things are going to be interesting too when you think about the microplastics that are in the water, and also there's a study that just came out and some autopsies that were done because we also have this challenge of depopulation. The numbers on reproduction in the United States and other countries across the world, we're actually doing better than some. But I've read a couple of these studies, and it's really interesting that they're finding microplastics in people's autopsies. So we're going to talk about that. Also, Sound of Freedom. You remember Angel Studios? They put out Sound of Freedom. They have a new one out called Sound of Hope. I'm going to play a clip from the Charlie Kirk Show where they're talking about the number of kids that need adoption, number of kids in foster care. And, if we can help, a couple of those families out with our broadcast here, that would be a win for us. I'm going to talk about that here coming up on the show as well with Fred Defelice. Coming up here in just a moment, quick shout out to our friends at Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. I love going down there. They got the Gandy location. Very conveniently located. They've got Carrollwood location, multiple locations. They can also come to your home or office. But what we're talking about here is a vitamin infusion drip directly into your bloodstream. Something like the Myers cocktail with all the good vitamins, B's, C's, all the good stuff going in, zincs. ReplenishIVSolutions.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. ReplenishIVSolutions.com. Say hello to Stephen and Lisa Gunnan and their great team of nurses over there. All right, a couple of hot listings for this segment. We like to feature our properties to help our sellers sell faster for more money. We got a property at 18522 Gulf Boulevard. This is right on the beach. It's not walking across the street. It's not on the intercoastal. It's on the beach. You walk out your front door, you walk past your heated pool, and you are on the sugar sand beaches of beautiful Indian Shores, Florida, Pinellas County. 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F. Right here in Tampa Bay, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,000 square feet, beachfront condo. Yes, you can short-term rent this property. It's a $1 million listing, granite countertops, mosaic backsplash. Beautiful property right here in Tampa Bay. 5642 Egrets Place, Newport Richey. Newport Richey in the house here. Great listing. I love this property. Gated community, 3-bedroom, 3.5-bath, 3,000 square feet, quarter-acre lot, heated pool with a waterfall feature, pavers, private backyard, fenced-in backyard, water view of the canal across the street. All types of updates and upgrades throughout this property. Too many to list here on the show, but you got a waterfront clubhouse, heated pool, lighted tennis courts, stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, and more. Beautiful property at 5642 Egrets Place, Newport Richey, Florida. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
This is God's country.
All right, we got Freddie Defelice back in studio. Welcome in, sir.
So great to be here, God. You do such a great job.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. We had some really good calls last week too when I was out. So you know, people love it, man. They're calling in. That's it really makes my day when I talk about this. Is like when we get those phone calls. I know we've had several callers reach out and get your water quality system. Waterscience.us. They'll get that water quality system on their home, and nothing but raving reviews and great fanfare from our show listeners. So I love that stuff, man. Getting those conversations going. People are reaching out to talk to Mark Hay. We did a good show just a couple days ago where he's talking about tax benefits. So reach out to the hotline. Save this number in your phone. You may need it. 727-263-3707. Any questions you have relating to real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, water quality, self-defense, home service provider, CPA, and more, 727-263-3707. Fred Defelice, what's new in the water quality area?
Well, you're hearing it all over the place about the microplastic particles.
Yeah.
And it's throughout the whole world is the problem. And it's in everything. Bottled water is one of the worst places to get it from.
Yeah.
I mean, and you see it. You go to a 7-Eleven sometimes to get gas, and you look over in front of the store, and there's those boxes and cases of bottled water just sitting out there.
Baking in the sun.
Yeah, and that's how it happens. But I think there's so many articles of what they're finding in the body, too. I mean, it doesn't go away once it's in.
They're forever chemicals, too, right?
And the forever chemicals.
Yeah, and the plastics, microplastics.
Yeah.
We talked about chloramine. The pharmaceutical drugs are in there as well.
Drugs, fluoride, all of that.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about it maybe one other time, but the forever chemicals.
Yeah.
There's only one water treatment plant right now. It's in Tampa that's handling that. And sooner or later, they're going to have to do it everywhere.
Yeah.
Because now they're admitting the problem is there.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking with Fred Defelice, waterscience.us. And when we talk with Fred, we talk about his products. We like to tell you, of course, these are the problems. This is what's out there. Yeah. But the solution is there. You have a great system. I can tell you from firsthand experience, we've got awesome water at our home, not only to bathe in, because, yes, your skin is your largest organ on your body, in your body, however you want to think about that. Because when you're bathing in the tub, shower, you're getting it, you're absorbing through there. And then, of course, the water you're cooking with and drinking with. Fred, talk about the solution a little bit.
Yeah. Well, our whole house system is where it starts. And that's treating the water for all the bad stuff. I mean, I can go on with a whole list. But we're leaving in all the beneficial minerals. Minerals is what makes water hard normally. So the second part of our system takes care of minerals so it doesn't leave scale. And the water doesn't, you don't realize that it's softer. It just feels better, on your skin. And then, of course, our under-sink system, which we developed about 7 years ago now, that's treating the water for the fluoride, the pharmaceutical drugs, microplastic particles, and there's a host of other contaminants. For example, the forever chemicals are one. So not only bathing and showering and everything safe for yourself, it's really so important what you're drinking, what you're getting in your body.
Yeah.
And I had customers before who were spending $100 a month on bottled water.
Yeah.
They don't ever have to do that again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of our logos, right? Never buy another bag of salt or bottled water again.
Alex?
Yeah, I want to add to one of those things. I actually just found this. I had seen this study before, and I was trying to look it up before I brought it up. But so it goes even further. So all those dangers, those chemicals, those microplastics, the things that we're taking in for ourselves.
Yep.
What do you feed your pets and stuff with? What do you give your dog water from and stuff and everything, right? Even more so. So check this out. We have a University of New Mexico researchers. So this was just published in 2024, May of this. So this month, May of 2024. before. University of New Mexico researchers have detected significant concentrations of microplastics in the testicular tissue of both humans and dogs, adding to growing concern about their possible effect on the human reproductive health. I mean, look, so now what kind of stuff, what is that doing?
Yeah.
If you can have kids, is it causing these problems later on?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
I mean,
Combine
it's,
that
yeah.
with the left's attack on traditional masculinity, converting all these girls to boys and cutting off the mastectomies, doing the whole chemical castration thing. Combine that. I think there's an actual effort, and by the left, by the globalists, whoever you want to call it, the devil's behind it. In my opinion, I'm a Jesus guy, and I think the devil's behind it. This stuff's evil, but this is maybe an unintended consequence of these microplastics, Fred.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I don't know. They know what they're doing. I mean, they know that this stuff, the machines they're using and what they're bottling this stuff is, I mean, unintended. I mean, and who goes through it? Like OSHA or whoever doesn't go through and like approve this stuff. Hey, you shouldn't be. We know that we don't need these bottles. We know we should be using glass, or you can even go with certain, metals for your cans and stuff like that. Anything is better than just putting everything in plastic, especially when it sits in a car and it's heated and then it's shipped in this big truck, and it just gets worse and worse.
Or even
and worse.
frozen too. I think some people put it in the freezer and freeze it, but whenever you're changing the
temperature,
you're losing the parts of it. Fred. So we're talking with Fred Defelice. Waterscience.us is the website. You also have a bottle water challenge. Tell me about that.
Yeah, for years we find people spending so much money, and when you come along and you want to put a whole house system and the under sink system, it's not free. You're going to spend money, but if you compare it to what you're spending, we can get financing, which is going to be less money than what you're spending on bottled water.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had people spending $100 a month.
It's a hassle, too. You're dragging these bottles in. You're dragging that stuff into the sun from Publix or wherever, putting it in your trunk. Yeah. The other thing, too, I see people drinking these sugar waters. Like I literally have people in my family that have issues with health, and they literally drink 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these things a day. Yep. And I think the average can, Alex, has like 60 grams of sugar in it, isn't it? Something like that? A Sprite or a Coke, or it's got like literally... It's like 60 tablespoons.
Dude, you're probably quoting the small cans too. Like when people go and get those big ones, and
like the big gulps.
It's even more. I mean, what are we doing?
It's
as
crazy,
a society, man?
But they're addicted to that stuff, man.
They really are. They build a dependency too.
Well, it has the cocaine thing, right? They tested it on rats. Like the literally, to drink those things are so terrible for you. And, I know maybe our listeners don't do that, but, they're smarter than that. But
well, you take a good, healthy glass of water, squeeze a little lemon in there.
Yeah.
You got the best thing in the world.
Delicious.
You know what I do, too? And it's almost like a treat. You could think of it like kind of what you're saying there, Fred, is I take actually this cup here, and I'll fill it with ice, and I'll put a couple of those little vitamin C things that you buy from the store.
Yeah.
And it's got a little sugar in there, but it's loaded with vitamin C. So I'll pour 2 of those in there. I'll hook it up to my water quality system that Fred put in my home, and I'll fill that up, and it tastes like a lemonade or orange flavor or raspberry flavor.
Yeah,
but at least
same.
I'm getting a couple of vitamin C's shots every time I'm doing that.
I do similar with like electrolytes and stuff. I'll mix a little electrolyte stuff in there.
Yeah, they make those little packets today where they make it so easy, so you can do it on the go. You can take it with you.
Make sure you're looking for the ones that don't have extra chemicals and additives and stuff in it if you're going to use those packets. So.
Yeah, those are really good. So you can do that, and it's basically like a little treat, So I'll do that. I actually saw some studies too, because I have the cholesterol stuff, the heart stuff going on. That vitamin C, mega doses of vitamin C, is supposedly like really good for you.
True.
Through cholesterol wise too, and heart attack.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Let's take a quick break. I want to come back and we're going to talk about this Sound of Freedom movie, Sound of Hope, actually, by Angel Studios. Talk about the need for adoption in the United States, and also there was an interesting story too I wanted to get to about college versus trades. The article says college pays off at $50,000 a year. We'll go into detail on that coming up here more with Fred Defelice, water quality expert contributor on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
Back here in studio, we got Fred Defelice, water quality expert, waterscience.us, coming up here in just a moment. Also going to touch on Sound of Hope, the new Angel Studios movie, and that much needed need for a push for adoption in the United States coming up here on the show. A couple of hot listings before we do. We got a property at 4809 Portland Manor. This is a beautiful home in Newport Richey. Single-family home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1912 square feet, 55-plus community of Heritage Lake. You have hardwood floors, flooded with natural light, beautiful ceiling to floor. windows, so you got natural lighting coming through. Great opportunity. No backyard neighbors here. Community grounds also has beautiful shade trees, ponds, and walking paths, heated pool, clubhouse, bocce ball, shuffleboard courts, pickleball, and tennis courts. 4809 Portland Manor Drive, Newport Richey, Florida. Another beautiful property from the Platinum MVP team at KW. 2790 Pinellas Point Drive South, St. Petersburg. We love this property. It's 3-bedroom, 3-bath. You have a 2-car garage. This one is gorgeous. I was actually on this listing appointment for this property. It's a great opportunity. When you walk in, I mean, it's just a gorgeous home. You look at the floor plan. Look at the oversized kitchen on this one. If you look at the pictures there, fireplace, a nice island, the lighter color on the cabinetry. People love that style of home. Beautifully landscaped. You have pavers, patio, serene gazebo, enticing jacuzzi, sleek porcelain tile flooring, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2236 square feet. Culinary enthusiasts will delight in the fully renovated kitchen here. Open floor plan, 2790 Pinellas Point Drive South, St. Petersburg. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it there.
All right, we got Fred Defelice in the house. Fred is our water quality expert. We wanted to talk about this movie as well, Angel Studios movie coming out recently, and I just picked this up from fellow Salem Media show host and political commentator Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. Picked this clip up from his show. We're going to play a clip now.
There's 100,000 children in the United States that don't have homes.
They're in the foster care system.
They're in the foster care system, and there are 400,000 churches. This one little church of 22 families adopted 77. We only need 1 in 4 churches to adopt 1 kid, and the whole problem's solved.
So remind me the year that this took place.
This is in the late 80s through the 90s, I believe. So they've all gotten older now, and kind of see.
At the end of the movie, you see kind of where they're at today.
It's such a beautiful story.
Because the movie's it's not a documentary. It's a beautiful dramatic story. But here's some other stats. 90% of children who have been sex trafficked have come through the U.S. U.S. Child Health Service.
U.S. Child Health Service. 90% of those kids are sex trafficked, have been sex trafficked to come through that system. So when you think about adoption and you think about, and we were looking at foster care, fostering a kid. We went through all the classes, and it's pretty extensive, the classes you have to go through. And then luckily we were blessed with our birth of our child and the pregnancy. But that was the path we were going down. And who knows, we may do it again because I really feel strongly about, if you have resources, you have the ability. I think that's one of the reasons why we're put on earth is to be a good steward, not only of our resources, but also of God's resources. You've got children in these foster care systems as adoption, wanting to be adopted, kids being broken up because they can't go to the same home. I mean, it's a heartbreaking thing, but Alex, thanks for putting that on the screen. So Sound of Hope, check it out, the story of Possum Trot. So the Sound of Hope story, this is by Angel Studios. Check it out. Support the good guys here. This is another way that you can support the good guys, Alex.
4th of July comes out 4th of July. I'm definitely going to be checking that one out. I love the other one with Henry Caviezel that they did with the Sound of Freedom. It's awesome what that studio is doing. And they actually have things on their website that you can sponsor people to go and see the film as well.
Yeah.
If you remember that, you can buy a ticket and pay it forward. And like you said, they do some, it's very interesting.
They have their own guild. So basically, and so that's how they've had success. That Sound of Freedom, that movie broke all their expectations. I mean, millions and billions of dollars in sales that it had.
They couldn't get it made initially the traditional Hollywood way. That's another
right.
thing. So that's another. They're now part of that weird system. I don't want to say all of Hollywood's weird, but it does seem there's some weird cultish stuff going on. Yeah,
Hollywood,
I would change
Hollyweird.
the sign to that for sure.
Fred, any thoughts around that? Adoption, foster care.
Well, one thing, we have the Sheriff's Youth Camp right here in Safety Harbor.
Good point.
And what they do is they find kids that are going to be in foster care.
Yeah.
And many times, you have a family where there's 4 or 5 kids, and
Right.
they get split up.
Yeah.
Well, they provide where they have those kids all stay together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And they have several cottages there. They have house parents. We donate all the water purification for them there. And,
That's awesome.
they just do a great job. And those kids, they go to school. They do everything. They wind up going to college.
Yeah.
Sometimes the families are reunited. That's always the goal.
Yep.
But they do a great job. People should really look into that place.
Yeah, foster care,
that.
adoption. I mean, the need is there, and if you have a calling on your heart for that, you have you feel something there, I would act on it, man. There's nothing more rewarding than having that child look at you and coming home. We've talked about it, Alex, right? I mean, you come home and your little kid comes running up to you, Daddy, and just the silly things they do and say, and it really does make your day. It kind of melts your heart, man.
Yeah, definitely. It breaks my heart when I hear all this stuff happen to the kids, man. Because
it's terrible.
You can't help but flash and think of what you just said. Think of your happy child's face, and then think of a broken-hearted child, what they're going through, man.
Exactly. It's tough, man.
It's so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary if we can do something about it. So.
That's right. Fred Defelice in the house. Alex Black Belt Lima. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show. Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate program, helping you win in any marketplace. Bringing on all types of great home service providers, real estate credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning. So many different ways we help you here. Water quality is our topic today on the show with waterscience.us. Fred Defelice and his sons. It's a family business. 727-263-3707. Call or text 727-263-3707 is the hotline, 263-3707. And consumerqb.com. You can reach out through the website. Last story here, last topic I wanted to get into is this whole debate about college versus trade schools. So there's a recent story came out. I pulled this down off of LinkedIn, but it says the value of a college degree called into question and skilled trades on the rise. The Wall Street Journal reports that college can be worth it if you attend an in-state university and work at a job that pays at least $50,000 a year, according to a new analysis of education and earnings data by the nonprofit Strata Education Foundation. While four-year state universities offer good return on investment, community college is less likely to land you. So yeah, so my thought is, look, if you're going to be utilizing a university for medical, architecture, law, something that really requires it, then yes, do it. Stay in state. You're going to pay less. Your parents are going to thank you for that. If you go out of state, the car breaks down, lots of problems there. Now, when you look at trades, you look at the need for trades, right? Welding, plumbers, electricians, HVAC. You do a trade for a few years, you start your own business, you grow. There's a lot of millionaires that own their own business, Fred.
Yep. My father always taught us, learn a trade and you'll never starve.
Yeah.
I started hanging around with my father when I was 9-10 years old. So
yep.
I've been at this game a long time. And, you got ups and downs in the economy and stuff.
Yep.
And I always, as I got older, I wanted to get away from the plumbing business and started other ventures. And things go bad, I went right back to that trade.
Exactly. You're always going to need plumbing. You're going to need electrical. You're going to need welding in a certain capacity. HVAC, especially in Florida, you're going to need those HVACs. And it's also a way to say no to these woke colleges, the indoctrination of the CRT and the Marxist ideology, which we see really rearing its ugly head right now, Alex, with these things happening. These staged protests that we're seeing at the Ivy League schools. It's just disgusting.
It's nuts. Some of the clients that I work with that do fitness training and martial arts and stuff with me, they a lot of them are college age. So I had one specifically that goes to USF. And she was present when all that silly protesting was going on over there. And I'm just so glad that we have DeSantis that's no, cut the crap. We're not going to do that stuff. And then campus security and the police jump right in and shut it down. That's what they need to do everywhere. Look, I always say this, whether it's high school, elementary school, or especially in college where you're paying buku money to go there. You are there to be educated.
Yep.
That's it. That's where you go to learn and then to grow, and that's it. Listen, you want to do a protest on the beach? I'm not saying to go on the beach, but school is not the place for this stuff.
Yep.
Okay? Neither is sporting events. Guys shouldn't be taking a knee. You're there to play sports, right. And that's it. It's let's use things as they're intended to be used.
Fred Defelice, waterscience.us. Final thought.
Yeah. The easiest thing, it starts with a phone conversation with me. I ask you a few questions. I can tell you exactly what size system you need. We do manufacture systems for mobile homes all the way up to estate-size homes.
Yeah. Businesses too. I've seen it in businesses.
Oh, yeah. We have the water coolers too. Get rid of those bottle coolers. We have the system that we do.
How do you want people to connect with you, buddy?
727-804-4562.
All right, reach out. Fred Defelice online at waterscience.us, waterscience.us. Also, you can find his information at consumerqb.com. Fred, thanks for coming in, man.
Pleasure to be here always, man.
Absolutely. Hey, another great show. We had Bruce Woodburn on this show talking about the real estate business, mortgage side as well. Please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.